where we trailed off at the last meeting was the request of the Board of Selectmen to pursue two things. One, to pursue a press release to announce and invite the public at large to participate in this huge endeavor that we're about to encounter in the next couple of years. And what you have before you is the press release that went to Tammy at the Journal-Tribune and Dan at the Reporter. And I've heard back from Dan, and we've cross-communicated. Actually, I've talked with Tammy too, and so we've done a little bit of refinement on this a couple times to try to get a very concise message. And if you look at that next to the last sentence, it's that's a fairly comprehensive sentence that speaks to, if I may read it, the new plan elements in the plan dealing with, or will deal with economic development initiatives, village and tourism planning, capital improvement planning, updated census data, cultural enhancements, and infrastructure investment needs are some of the work areas that need to be studied. That's just some of them. And so what we're trying to do is to lure some good people that want to invest the time and energy to participate in the process. The second part of it that was recommended by the board was to do a PSA. And so I've communicated with Patrick Bonsan, and a great man, and overworked, however. He's just wrapping up a huge PSA with the town of Standish on form-based coding and some of the process that they went through to create that. That's pretty exciting for both Standish and for ourselves, because some people in town have suggested that that's something that the planning board should look at, so I'm going to secure a copy of that. Where does that leave us with our PSA? Patrick has a rough outline that I've prepared for him. We're going to do a refinement of that, and then hopefully within the next week or two be able to cut that PSA. Probably will be somewhere in the vicinity of about a 5-minute or less PSA.
Good. This is a good start.
So I think we've got a good start on this. I think one thing that would be real helpful from the board would be what you want to call this committee, because I think it would be important in the PSA to have a defined name for that committee. And here you notice I've kind of just grouped together a couple ideas, 2020 Comprehensive Plan Oversight Committee. Maybe that's a little bit too wordy, and if you'd like to compress that, or if you'd like to come up with a more clever name for the committee or work group. But I think it's something that we should probably decide on so we can be consistent and use the same name, as well as when applications come in.
I mean, I'm good with what you got here. I mean, we can wordsmith it all we want, but we would have 5 different versions of it, so 6 or 7.
I'm fine with
Let me throw this out. I mean, I think that there's a lot of folks that may show some interest. Certainly there are some that, more so than others. But would it benefit us to have, before we get to this deadline, a reception or something here at the town office, kind of following the PSA and all of that, to say, with a short presentation of, hey, this is what it's all about, for anybody that may be interested to kind of get a view of this whole thing. And I mean, I know it's tough trying to get people out, but if you did kind of a reception some evening or whatnot and invited, you'd have to advertise to do it, right? But to bring in anybody that may be interested, we send it out to all the committee members in town, and anybody that has names, and we've all talked about this becomes of, gee, I got a few people I'd like to try to entice to be on the committee, or, Gordon does, or Tammy Jo does, I mean, I would think we could get 25 or 30 people to come to kind of before we finally say, these are all the applications that we've got.
Sure.
Because some people are gonna, yeah, I might be interested in it, but I really don't know. All I can read is what's in this, 100-word press release.
And I think
Exactly.
the other reason that's a good idea is just the opposite of that. You might have somebody that says, this sounds great,
Yeah.
and they apply for it, they get appointed, and then when they come in, they realize, oh, this isn't exactly what I thought
Right.
it was going to be, and you end up losing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a session of everybody interested come in and do a presentation, question and answer, so that they know exactly what they're getting into. And then if the application, they still wish to have their application there, we get some extra people, then we get all the applications, we can start going through the selection process.
Because-
do a PowerPoint.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that becomes now, there's a whole bunch of stakeholders that are starting to kind of develop here, right? I mean, we have certainly your municipal offices are stakeholders, but as you start to look down, the planning board should be a stakeholder, the Economic Development Committee is a stakeholder, the Friends of the Waterboro Library, in my view, would be a stakeholder. I mean, there are a whole bunch of different, people that are focused on certain things within the community that now really start to say, well, there has to be a voice, from that segment, if we will, of the community that participates in this whole process, right? So that we don't get, we get a whole bunch of people that,
Could I,
want this or that or the other thing, because it shouldn't be dominated by anyone, and that ultimately will be our choice as we start to pick people, but we need interest from those groups of people, the business community, the, folks from that support the, I call it a library, but, I think Jack is right, it's now, really potentially a cultural center for the town that may be,
Community center.
so there's a whole bunch of that's got to come to.
You're absolutely right. We want to have a really good cross-section of people. And it is important to have a good cross-section of the business community, too. Just recently, over the last couple of weeks, Nancy and I have talked with some people from Goodall to see if we can also interest the medical community. We have some resources that are kind of in their embryonic stage. Some people see one building over there at Goodall. I see a medical campus. And so a part of this campus planning is part of the big picture of comprehensive planning. And so the more people we can involve, and I think this is really key, that we get a really good diversified group that's willing to make the commitment. I think that's a great idea to have a reception. The key might be, because of everybody's demanding schedules, is to get the word out early and perhaps have another press release if you would like me to prepare one, or if you would like Nancy to prepare one, either one of us, to announce the date. And that way people can get it on their calendar, and they'd know exactly, if they have a strong interest, they know what date it is, and they can get it on the calendar.
Yeah, I mean, my put would be, okay, you may go to the end of April with the applications, and somewhere in the third week or second week of April, maybe somewhere in that time frame, you say, or the week of the 19th or something, you say, we're going to have an evening reception, whether it's I'll pick a night, I guess, Monday night or Friday night or, Thursday night or whatever. Similar to what I know the business community is really trying to kick off these,
The after hours.
these social
Maybe,
things
yeah.
after 5, and, that in that vein, I think it could be, something that we could kick off and do, and, like John said, or Nancy said, I think of, a small, short PowerPoint presentation of, hey, this is where we are, and, maybe some of the input from folks like John that were involved in the last one, and
Sure.
Yeah, and just, you've got people who have been in this community for years and years that can give the historical perspective and are, and see the community develop over a long time. They've always lived here. And then you've got the new people in town, the younger people that may be here over years and years in advance. So they get the future in mind. So you get those people together, and people from various parts of town and from the business community, and that's what will really make this committee strong.
Thanks for saying that, John. In fact, we tried to build that in the press release, too. That came as a result of your comments a couple weeks ago, that we want the wisdom of the elders, and we want the visions of the young new generation. And so thank you for saying that. And I think we're just going to work extra hard to make sure that we get that cross-section, both age and professions and backgrounds. It's important to have tradespeople that are involved in this. Tradespeople they're always very busy, and so we've got to figure out how we're going to get their input.
So at this time, as we are meeting people and talking with people, and say I see a person I think might be very good, and said it would be appropriate to have that person give you a call or write or email you and say get in touch with Tom R.S.U and get on the list of interested candidates.
Absolutely. As you're talking this up, please do that. Have people email me or give me a call, stop in, whatever their preference is. For that particular reception, maybe we need to challenge each other to each bring 2 people, 2 or more people.
Yep.
And then if that's an acceptable challenge, we'll know that we'll have at least 12 people.
Right.
In addition to ourselves. So if I may offer that, if you can start working on finding a couple people that you think one would be interested and one would turn up for that reception, we probably should just pick, if we may, a date tonight, just so we, do you have a preference for a Monday, Friday, a non-selectmen's night, or is it something you want to do?
I would always go Monday before Friday. Fridays.
Yeah, Friday probably
good.
is a non-starter, but,
Okay.
um,
Would the 26th be a good opportunity?
April?
That gives us time to get the message out, get the PSA done.
I think it does. I mean, yeah, we'd like to set a deadline, I think, to get applications in sooner than later, but I don't think that we should hold ourselves to, the 26th or the 30th. I mean, if it's the first week of May, it's the first week of May, but I think if this gives us a month, basically, now to go forward and plan to, we should have a goal or objective to get, 25 or 30 people here.
7 o'clock?
And,
So is this press release a done deal, or are you still tweaking it with the...
That one is, however, there'll be obviously a second one now that will follow this with any additional
Both?
ideas that you have, and a date and a location. Pam, is there any conflicts that you can see on the 26th, which is a Monday evening?
Is Tammy and Dan both going forward with the story, or does that need some nudging? Or?
We're going to build to it. And what they wanted to do is to do a couple little snippet press releases like this, sort of attention grabbers. And then if we can do another one with a date that will be the invitation, and then follow that with a story that's a little bit more detailed.
Yeah.
Good.
My only suggestion was going to be that if we're having a meeting on April 26th, maybe we change that deadline to April 30th. Same week, it still puts us into selecting people
Sure.
in May.
Well, I think what we can do, Tim, is we can always extend it. I think the purpose of a deadline is sort of, again, an attention grabber, so people say, oh, I've got a month to do this, because people always, the longer we put something out, the more we all procrastinate.
Right, there's a natural tendency to procrastinate, be it the people that may be interested, so.
And I can always tweak that date as
Good.
you say, and we can see what the outcome is also on the 26th.
All right.
All right, and so I'll just wait to hear from you of who your potential candidates are and people that you might be bringing in. Thanks, John, for suggesting that. Just send them right by the office, and I'll be more than happy to greet and talk with them.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Tom. Thanks for sticking around. All right, memo of understanding for Lake Arrowhead's pool. There's a bunch of stuff here, right, from Natalie?
Natalie reviewed it, she made revisions, and then Pam sent it up to Lake Arrowhead, and they changed the contract to match what Natalie suggested.
Okay. So what's your pleasure here, folks?
I'll move that we go with the contract that Natalie has
The revised memorandum of
revised.
understanding? Do I hear a
And
second?
enter into contract with Arrowhead.
Second.
Any discussion? Sensing none, all those in favor? All right, abatement request. We already did that, didn't we, or is there something else?
No, that's
We
the,
discussed it, this is the vote
The
to
big one.
accept it.
that you'll need to talk with Jerry about.
Oh, yes, yes, that is the one that, has anybody kind of digested that and looked at it?
That's the one that was in our mail a few weeks
Right,
ago.
right.
Yeah.
That came actually from a legal firm, right? So we should set something up with Jerry, I guess, and I would suggest that if we're not going to do it next week, it should be the first meeting in April, the 6th, to discuss that. And there any reason that we wouldn't do that in a regular session, or should we have a workshop?
We haven't got an opinion from the attorneys on that yet, have we?
Ultimately, it's Jerry's opinion of whether or not there's a good representation of what they're presenting makes sense or doesn't make sense, so. They've retained an attorney to present it, so.
Let's do it in regular session.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason to. Okay, so why don't we tee that up, I guess, early enough so that we don't keep Jerry here until it gets dark out. All right, how about our request to purchase a lot? Any more information on that?
Well, I think what we had last week was pretty clear that the lot couldn't be sold for 10 years, so
Yeah,
I think we need to deny the request.
I'm not sure that we own it to begin with.
Yeah.
Just because there's a road in a development doesn't mean that the town automatically owns it, right?
Well, it's part of the subdivision plan. They had
Right.
to set aside that right of way.
So, I mean, ultimately, it's,
We accepted the roads, but I think the footage is the thing that's in question on that, according to what I was talking with the CEO, as to whether or not it extends to that
Right.
little piece at the end, so there is that question.
so I guess, I'm not sure that we really need a vote. I mean, other than a communications back to the gentleman saying that we're not in a position to.
We don't have the
Sell
legal
the land.
standing.
Well, I think, if he wants the land, it's, the impetus is on him
Right.
to do the research.
Yeah.
And he come to us with the research, and
So, I think.
Well, even
this-
if he researches it and we do own it, we can't do anything under the law anyway.
Right.
So it's almost a moot point.
but I mean, if he comes up and says the town owns this, he can show that, but otherwise, we don't have anything to do with it, if we don't own the land, it's.
Does he have the option of applying for, I believe he wants the land to give him the footage necessary for him to build a garage. Is it possible for him to get a variance from the,
That's
Well,
unlikely.
he's got to prove that there's a hardship, that he's not enjoying that because he can't make the setback, he can't enjoy the full value, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
things that they've got to go
it's-
through, but that's, doesn't mean that he couldn't at least make that application.
But it's expensive, and you want to go into it with a thought that you're going to be able to,
Right.
you stand a pretty good chance of getting it.
So I think our only action is a letter that we'll send back to him saying that this, we currently have no legal path
Standing.
or standing to offer to, I guess, meet his request. All right, transfer station recommendation, kind of all went through this last night. I, for one, would at least like to go through and see what some of these other municipalities have done. I know John has kind of kicked off, at least the recommendation of, maybe we should take some action and then do the referendum, but what is everybody's feeling? I mean,
If I'm not mistaken, this recommendation that we asked for was whether or not local haulers could deposit at the
Nope.
transfer station, wasn't it?
no, their recommendation, they made no recommendation on the local hauler. The recommendation that they delivered last week was that we go to a town-approved bag,
Okay.
and that we sell those bags at cost. So if you truly look at that recommendation, all right, I think that the position changed last evening, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that that's really a viable recommendation at this point, but I think we're at a point where we've got enough input from the board, the committee, that now this board has to take this on, right?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? And so I guess I'd at least like to go through, because we have a gap, financial gap, that we need to make sure that we're closing in our budget, right? So I'd at least like to go through that exercise to say how close or how far away are we? And then I think that drives, where we go with this thing. But I think generally speaking, we can, I guess, decide whether we're going to present it in referendum or whatnot, but I'm not sure that we know exactly what it is that we're going to ask for at this point.
Well, I've only been on this committee since the summer, but we've been dealing with this issue every meeting since the summer.
Yep.
And we have leaned in one direction, leaned in the opposite direction. We've had all sorts of views. One of the things that the committee seems to have come down to, and I think some of the board members anyway, or maybe all of us, is that that we need to increase recycling. And by increasing recycling, we're going to reduce the cost of managing the transfer station. We need to do that. And in a sense, we all agreed to that when we took money out of the transfer station request budget and reduced it with the thought that we're going to increase recycling. And there's a couple of other measures, too, that we've taken action on. So we've taken that action now. Now we've talked with Pay for Bag, we've talked about a sticker system, we've talked about free bags, free stickers to people, and the latest movement on this, and it's fairly consistent, I think, is that right now people need to take, they're supposed to bag their trash before it goes to the transfer station, or when they're putting it into the transfer station. That isn't heavily enforced. What we've gone to the next step here in preparation is that the bags going into the transfer station trash receptacle, the compactor, would be 33-pound bags or less. Anything 33 pounds or less.
Gallons.
Gallons, not pounds, 33-gallon bags or less would be accepted. So we haven't gone there yet. I think that is a very small step from requiring all bags and then narrowing it down to nothing over 33 pounds would be accepted. Then after that, where we've talked there is, I think the next step is, do we charge for disposal of waste? And in doing so, are we increasing our the amount of single stream recycling? I think all of us in agreement that that would increase recycling. But then, how to do that in a way that is least objectionable or more favorable to the public of Waterboro. And one of the things where we went last night on that is that we would give every household so many either bags or stickers to put on bags that would allow free deposit of that bag into the transfer station, no cost. And we had talked about 1 bag a week on that. And then anybody that was not recycling or causing more trash than that would have to pay a certain amount. And that was the part that we said, okay, we really ought to put this out for referendum. That here's the idea, and this is a reason for doing it, and now have the people vote on it in June to okay that part of the operation. So I think, I think we're pretty close to putting together a referendum vote into setting that up. And we've been talking about it now for a year, and we've gone round and round and round, and we're getting very close to the time where we need to act on it. I mean, like in the next couple of weeks, I believe. So we can really have hearings on it and have the public comment and also have time to educate the public on how it would work.
Yeah, April 27th will be the deadline
Yeah.
for any
So
referendums.
I think we need to make this decision in the next couple of weeks.
I agree.
I agree to a decision ought to be made, because we've, in our efforts to be absolutely fair to everyone, we've probably overthought a lot of
Well, I think,
issues
yeah.
regarding this, and I guess it's time to,
And I really think that's where the committee is struggling is that, and that's why I think every suggestion that comes up, it's weighed against, well, that's probably a little more palatable, or no, that isn't, and so I think that the committee is scared to death that whatever we do is going to get flushed back at them, right?
Well,
And I think,
Yeah, you're never going to make a decision that has an effect on people without people having opinions on it, pro and con. So we make this decision and we put it before the public. You're going to have some people that the selectmen can't make a decision. They got to put it off, and now they're making us make the decision. And then if the selectmen did make a decision, it's the selectmen are not going to the public. So we're gonna take hits either way on this. But I think I think most of us agree when we're looking at a tax-like or a fee, that we really ought to go to the public on that and have them and tell them why, and educate them why, and then have them make the decision.
so is it fair to say, ultimately next week we've got workshops, and I think we should at least put this on the agenda that we are going to take a vote on where we're going with this, whether it's going to be referendum, whether we're going to do it in 2 steps, we're going to change the rules and regulations, and then have a referendum vote for a paper bag. That's something, ultimately, you can call it anything you want, paper sticker, paper, whatever. We're going to come up with some program that says that after the town gives you X amount of stickers or bags, you will pay after that if you're not frugal enough to manage your waste, right?
absolutely. Then the other issue that came up, I think the leaning the other night too, and that is whether commercial haulers could deposit their waste at the transfer station. I think the leaning from what I got was to allow that to happen next year, and may change our mind if it doesn't work out well, if it's costly or it's problematic, but to continue on with that. And if we have a system where everyone needs to have a sticker on their bag, some haulers may decide that they don't want to do that and take it directly to Portland. So that's up to the hauler. But I think I felt the leaning was, okay, now would lean was to have them allow them to deposit at the
Yeah, and
transfer
they would, and then ultimately, they would be responsible to ensure that whatever waste they were hauling was in fact meeting whatever criteria we set up, whether it's a pink bag or a pink strap or a big blue sticker or whatever the case may be.
Well, I think the idea that seemed to be favorable last night was the bag and tag, which was you buy a dump sticker, you get 52 tags at no cost. You can use up to a 33-gallon bag, and then when you exceed those 52 tags, you have to buy anything beyond that.
Yep.
I think that, we kind of looked at the people that generally recycle probably will not have to buy any tags throughout the course of the year, but people who don't recycle and who are driving up the cost of the transfer station are the ones that are going to have to buy the tags. I think that if we can partner up with the haulers if we go to that kind of a system, because when we did the paper bag in the past, how many people did you hear, well, I'm just going to get D&E to haul my trash, and what did that do? Well, then D&E had all this trash that they were hauling. We're still paying the tonnage for it. How did we, you didn't increase the recycling from those folks. So I think if you say to the haulers, look, if you want to dump at the transfer station, we're only going to take tagged bags from the haulers, then the haulers are going to pass that on to the customers, and we're not going to have that problem this time with people saying, oh, I'm just going to call a hauler. If the hauler doesn't want to follow that, like John said, then they can haul direct to Portland. But we're not going to pay that tonnage fee.
Right.
So I can see that would be a partnership.
And I think the other partnership is if the haulers are going to haul, and we allow them to come into the transfer station, then we need to mandate that they also haul single stream,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You just don't bring bags of household waste.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a route in the town, you're going to have pickups, right? You really need to be bringing single stream recyclables along with that household waste, because that drives the thing of, I'm just going to have somebody pick it up and I'm not going to do any recycling, just pick it up and forget about it, right?
Yep.
If we put this out for a referendum and the citizens accept it, and there is a charge for bags over a certain number that we give out for free, and people realize that these bags are a commodity, or the tags that go on the bags are a commodity that they wish to keep, not expend, then that almost, in people that give their trash and have them picked up by commercial haulers, they don't want to have their haulers take that trash and then have to drive to the transfer station with recyclables.
Right.
So it almost ensures that the haulers are going to be hauling recyclables too, because that's the service that they're
I
giving
think
to
that some
them.
do that now, they make a special day for...
Actually, Dean does that now, I know,
And the
because
other gentleman that was in the...
Ralph had said that he
Ralph,
was
yeah.
that
I
himself.
think the only difference was now that Dean is going direct to
Right.
Eco with the single stream, and we need to address that so that it comes
And
to
that's
us.
not even getting booked into our,
Right, it's just going in as I'm here with
so.
recyclable material.
So, I mean, if everybody's amenable to it, let's tee the thing up for the April 6th meeting, that we will make the decision of
All right.
what we're going to do.
Could, I know we're short,
good
can
to do
I
that.
request that it would be the next meeting after April 6th, the 13th, only because I won't be here on the 6th.
All right.
I do want to participate in that conversation.
If things
Yeah,
don't
I'm
go
gonna
well
get
on the
penalty.
6th, you might not be here on the 13th either.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Drink the water.
Okay.
Cindy will be back, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would guess that she would be back by the 13th, right?
Okay.
Tell us she's got to be back by the 13th. Okay? Employee appreciation.
I'd just like a vote from the board. Tentatively, what I've set up is Thursday afternoon, April 22nd, at the Waterboro Central Fire Station Training Room. Would be the place to be catered by 199, a local business, for the full-time and part-time employees of the municipality, an appreciation afternoon luncheon. Whatever range so far is, or what this thing would cost would be $900, and as I understand it, we have a little over 1,000 in the employee appreciation account, and I didn't want to obviously expend everything out of that. First of all, I didn't have to, and secondly, there may be some things that we want to do, later on in the year, just for that contingency, but that would be the price that I've negotiated with them down there, and they will provide dietary items that would fit into meat.
A diverse diet of
Yeah, the people, well, there's certain people, I guess, that are gluten-free. They need gluten-free, and there's some diabetics, involved, and people that, have lactose intolerance. Taking all those things into consideration, we've come up with a menu of prime rib, haddock, and chicken. And this, this is a afternoon luncheon, and there's, veggie platters and, the cheese things and.
Prime rib for lunch.
Well, obviously, it's not, you're not gonna get like one of everything. He's gonna have, it's gonna be buffet style, so.
Well, we don't have to get into the details. I
No.
think what you're asking for is, can you spend some, can you take this on and work it with, so,
Better than sardines.
I pretty much get it set up, I just need the go-ahead.
what's the pleasure of the board?
I move that we take Gordon's your proposal for April 23rd luncheon to be
Well,
supplied.
if we have it the 23rd, nobody will go.
22nd.
It's set up for the 22nd.
It's the 22nd.
22nd, excuse me.
Do I hear a second?
What's the 23rd? From Sunday?
That's when you can have all that prime rib to yourself.
Okay,
That's the plan.
You can have the end of that.
okay, I will move it.
Okay, it's been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, moving along. Warrants and bills for payroll. I need somebody to move.
So
it.
moved.
Second. All those in favor? All right, we don't have any minutes. Committee involvement, comprehensive plan, staff training, training policy, map 41, lot 13, ADA compliance.
I will say on the ADA compliance, they will be here Thursday to install the handicap openings on the
Great.
doors.
Oh, good. Well, that's a positive move,
Good
right?
start.
Okay, abatement request was the one that we talked about, of Jerry in on the 6th to finalize that. And the request to purchase the town lot, I think, is a done deal now. Right? Week's action list, Pam, you're gonna send a note to the gentleman that was trying to buy the property? Anything else out of actions?
Nancy needs to send the snowplow contract to legal for
Yes.
review.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else?
Pam should send something where the board voted tonight to add the position to the ballot and to shorten,
Yes.
to make it so that Carrie will have it
Right,
tomorrow so she can start issuing.
yep. And we need to get something in the ad in the paper or something that denotes that. And I guess, I don't know, somebody said there was something in the Candy Wells had an article and, okay.
Saturday.
All right, because I was accused of pressuring somebody to get off the board, so I just... Anything else? Discussion of agenda items next week, we're good because we're having a workshop.
Well, the
Yep.
finance,
You do have Old Home Days coming in.
Okay.
What was it?
Old Home Days is coming in, they were already coming in before you rescheduled the workshops.
So they're still coming in?
They're still going in
Okay, that's fine.
next week.
We certainly have time to have a discussion with them. The items needing signature warrants and bills of payroll, concealed weapon application taken care of. Reminders, kindergarten registration again tomorrow,
Yes.
the town office, town hall. Land trust, 7 PM tomorrow.
That's actually been moved to the following week.
Okay, so not going to be tomorrow night. Library trustees at the library, 7 PM Thursday night. Old Home Days Committee, Town Hall, 7 PM Thursday night. And next Tuesday, the Selectmen's Workshop. Department heads and the Finance Committee, have they all been invited? That's the question I get.
I've notified the department heads from our meeting.
And I presume that the...
A reminder would be good.
Yeah, just remind everybody. So with that, John,
I will move that we adjourn this meeting.
do I hear a
Is that my
second?
cue?
no, we're not going to do it.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you.